Ito dugayon siguro, no? Oras alas 4:14 na sa hapon. Natay special guest karon mga ka-partners, no? Actually recorded ni siya nga interview. Kay giimbitahan nato ni, no, para makahinabi sab kung unsa gyud ang mga advokasya, no, plataporma nganong naay Bangon Philippine Outsourcing Partylist sa tumong niini, no, labi na sa sektor sa BPOs nga kabalo man kita, no, nga isa ni sa mga dakong contribution nato sa ekonomiya tungod sa pagpasulod, no, sa og kuan, no, income sa ato ang nasod mga ka-partners, no, daghan tag mga key areas, no, sa tibok nasod nga dako kay natabang, no, sa ato ang mga labor sector, labi na katong mga nagtrabaho gyud sa BPOs kay sila man ang na-stable gyud nga trabaho karon. In fact, di ba, katong panahon sa audit, dako i-challenge ang hitabo sa ilaha, but nagpabilin gihapon, no, ang ilang trabaho. Kasagaran mga kumpanya nagsarado gyud. Pero ang BPO mga ka-partners nagpadayon sila sa ilang operation. Siguro di na tudugayan mga ka-partners atong sayran, no, og nagkaroon tag chance nga ma-interview ang Bangon Philippine Outsourcing Partylist first nominee na si Sir Mike Cobos mga ka-partners. Atong paminawon ang atong interview bahin niining BPO Partylist mga ka-partners.
We naatay gina-advocate karon no? Especially kay upcoming elections 2022 and then officially na-include po na atong grupo. Tell us about it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, for inviting me for interview. So yeah, we're so I would say blessed, and we're very happy that we are part of this coming election, and we are included in the ballot. We are number 120. So we're very happy because for the longest time, ever since the party list system has been in place in the Philippines, there has been no representation at all about our industry, which is the IT, BPM, and even the online freelancers, and even anything about technology and innovation. So this is the first party list that will be, hopefully, that will have a seat in Congress. So we're very happy about it because finally we have a chance to be represented, because for the longest time we were always at the receiving end of the law, the legislation, and we all know that the BPO industry is second, if not the first, pillar in the economy. This is in tandem with the OFWs. The OFWs contributing around 10 to 11%. The BPO industry is the same. It's 10 to 11% as well. The OFWs we're happy for them because they're now well taken care of, because there's a lot of agencies looking after them, and I think there's around at least 5 congressmen or representatives in Congress that are advocating for the welfare of the OFWs. But for the BPO industry, there is none at all. So there is no champion in Congress and even in Senate that really fights for the BPO industry, especially its sustainability.
So what do you think the BPOs right now, the challenges that the BPOs right now is facing?
Okay, so what we really advocate here is how to sustain this whole industry. Right now, we are at around, unofficially, we are around 1.4 million directly employed by the IT BPM sector. There's also this 2 to 3 million online freelancers in the Philippines. So we're one of the biggest workforce in terms of online freelancers. So all in all, there's around, let's just say 2 million plus 1.4, 3.4 million Filipinos working in this sector, including the two, BPO and online freelancers. Right now, with the current situation now that the government and its focus in our industry, if you look at the ranking, the Philippines has really gone down in its ranking. For example, here in Cebu, we used to be top 10, top 20. Now we are now at the 52nd place in terms of tolerance ranking. So if this continues, there will be massive loss of jobs because clients and companies will now shy away to invest and put their services in the Philippines. They will transfer to other places like Vietnam, Malaysia, India, and other places in the world that is in the top ranking. So we want to come in as a voice to really sustain this whole industry, both from employers and the workers, and how we can synergize and really sustain this whole industry. Because in the government right now, there could be laws that is really anti-labor, and there are also laws that are super pro-labor, and there might be some laws as well that is really anti-investors, uh, super pro investors. So we want to unify to make sure that this industry will last. Okay, so that's what we're looking after. So for example, there should be a balance in terms of foreign and local investors in the BPO industry. If we look at now, I would say 99% of the BPO IT BPM players are foreigners. They come in here, but there's already no barrier for Filipinos to do the same, to go into this industry. So instead of one side is very heavy, if we can balance it out, we have more trained and mentored and supported Filipino entrepreneurs to flourish in this industry, then it's also good. Number two, we have to also decentralize the opportunities instead in the cities. Put these opportunities in the province. Because if you look at the data, especially here in Cebu, 70% of the workers in the IT park are from the provinces. They're from Negros, they're from Samar, they're from Surigao, Cagayan de Oro, even from Davao, the whole of Mindanao, Bohol. So they're not from Cebu City or Metro Cebu. So if we can decentralize, put the opportunities there in the countryside, just imagine someone, a worker earning 15,000 pesos working in an IT park, comparing it to someone working in the province earning the same amount, which is 15,000. I mean, the take-home pay of this the one going working in the province is, I think, much bigger than the one working in IT park. So, balancing it out. Another one is the challenge that we have now is on the workers. No one is really looking after the workers. There should be a separate benefits for daytime workers and night shift workers. If we look at our law right now, there's this mandated 10 days VL, vacation leave, and SL, right? But that is actually a law that was conceptualized when there was still no concept of night shift, almost no, like the call center workers. Why should we apply the law that is conceptualized for day workers to the night shift? For night shift, there should be something different. Like for example, for call center workers, they should have more VLs and SLs minimum mandated by law. Let's just say, for example, just additional 2 days instead of 10. Just add more, just two to make it 12. 12 VLs and SL for night shift workers. So at least they have more days to go on leave, because if you work at night, the the effects to your body is really different. Like I've been night shift for almost 20 years. It's really stressful. Just imagine sleeping during daytime. It's so noisy outside, right? Another one for the workers. Do you know that the only industry here in the Philippines that is really very stressful is this industry, the BPO? Just imagine, almost every 30 minutes, you have someone yelling at you. What I mean, psychologically, that is so stressful. For me, I get an argument with my wife. It's like a few minutes. It's like it's already very, like, you know. But just imagine someone that you don't know will just scream at you, and you're there to solve their problems. Like, you know, and just imagine that every single day, every hour, every day, you have that problem. So for so many years, that goes on. That's why, because the work environment is stressful, uh, we have this. So agents or workers will now try to find a way for them to relax. One way for them to relax is smoking, drinking, heavy drinking, so that they can sleep. They can uh, de-stress. So that's why we want to promote really mental health kind of benefits to these workers. So make it a law wherein one of the benefits or incentives now, if you're working in the call center industry, you should have this mental health incentives. So it could be a separate vacation leave, mental health vacation leave. Could be an allowance that the company will give. Right now, this is optional per company. But if you want this industry to really flourish, you want your workers to really sustain themselves, we need to have such benefit. So there's a lot more, no, that we can do. Again, the word here is sustainability. Sustain it from all the stakeholders.
Basically, what you have said, sir, is that's just your platform for this
Yeah,
advocacy that you have right now, no? The Bangon
Bangon Philippine
Philippines
outsourcing. Yeah,
outsourcing. Yeah.
because right now, again, because our ranking is really low, we want to bring the Philippines back to first place. Because if we put the Philippines in the first place, that means more jobs, millions more jobs for the Filipinos. This is the only industry now that can potentially provide millions of jobs. Um, well, so sad to say, no, but it's not going to be manufacturing. Uh, Post pandemic, retail will not be the main player in providing jobs. It will not be, again, sad to say, tourism. Tourism would be the fastest to recover, would be 3 years. But now, no, it's going to be the BPO industry that can provide millions of jobs. Um, so for our biggest problem right now during this pandemic is unemployment. We have so many displaced workers, right? Especially from the tourism industry, the restaurants, hotels, right? So there's that big problem. If we keep on continuing this welfare for the people, the ayuda, the government will, wala na eh, there's no more money for the government. So since we believe that the BPO industry is the answer to unemployment. So actually we have two answers for that. The government will just do these two things, and then a lot of people will have job. Number one, if the government can have a national training program for ICT, meaning with its own budget and with its own program dedicated for that. Just imagine training people, these displaced workers, training them to have ICT skills that they can then work for call centers, they can then work to online job as freelancers. Just imagine the government having 50,000 graduates a month or even 100,000 graduates a month. So these people without jobs can now cross to the industry which they want to work, right? So we now have this big, huge volume of trained people, right? The second thing that the government would need to do is massive international promotion. So we have already in the Philippines. We are known for what we are known for is tourism, is our beaches, our culture, right? So the government spends hundreds of millions or billions in terms of tourism or promotion outside the country, right? Sadly, there is no tourist now, right? So we have this budget. Why not utilize that budget, create a national program wherein, aside from the government saying it's more fun in the Philippines, why not also say outsource in the Philippines? Because if companies outside the country will outsource, put their work or staff to the Philippines because we have trained workers, that's already a lot of jobs. For example, in the US alone, there are 32 million small businesses. These 32 million small businesses in the US alone wants to save money. They average around 20 staff to 30 staff uh, per company. What if with a collective agreement or an agreement with the US nation, what if we can convince, out of the 32 million, what if we can convince 1 million small businesses who wants to save money to outsource just one staff, like a secretary work or sales, just one staff to the Philippines because we have trained workers. So just 1 million businesses outsourcing one staff, that is instantly 1 million jobs. And then this 1 million jobs is very good because in the US they're paying 150,000 pesos a month for this entry level staff like secretary. If businesses will outsource in the Philippines, they're only gonna pay 30,000. Big savings for the small business in the US. In the Philippines, with a trained worker earning 20 to 30,000 pesos, working in the province, that is already very, very big. Imagine 1 million people earning 30,000 pesos. That will jumpstart our local economy. So that is just a very simple solution to a big problem. So this is not being done right now because there is no champion familiar with the industry who has hands-on knowledge, who has the experience to really, uh, you know, uh, tell this to our lawmakers. So that's why we in the BPO wants to advocate this. We can champion it. We can create a law with all these things that the government that needs to be focused on. Then we can solve this massive unemployment, and at the same time, imagine those bringing those jobs outside the country to the Philippines with trained workers earning 30,000 pesos. We can bring back. We can now bring back some of our OFWs home. Just imagine working in the Middle East earning only 30,000 pesos a month. What if you could, and the OFW can earn that in the Philippines together with his or her family with the same figure, just working from home. Diba? Um, we can finally have a complete family. This is one of the things that's really neglected right now. Our family culture and values is actually deteriorating because of this situation with the OFWs. Children growing without their parents, their mother. Children growing without even knowing their father. They can only see them on video. Fathers, parents going back home only twice a year. Diba? So parents should be there to guide the children so that they will grow and inculcate and have those values while they're growing. But because of the OFWs or because they're working outside, the family is not complete. The basic unit in our society is not complete. So if we can have local jobs here because of the IT, BPO opportunities, we can bring them back and have our family complete. So those are a lot of things that we want to really push they're even bigger, but these are just some of the things that are I can share that is relatable to everyone.
Okay, it's already campaign period, sir. No, how's the support of the as we all know, we have lots of companies investing in BPO industry. How's the support with your advocacy
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. Um, Wherever we go right now, I would say 99% are really very supportive. Number one, even those who are not related to the BPO industry can relate to our party list.
Mm,
You know why? When Odette hit Cebu,
mm,
you know what's the first thing that people were looking for the day after? It's not water, it's not power, it's the oh, one bar. Hey,
mm,
oh, Wi-Fi, oh, data. So it's internet. One of the things people can relate because another platform that I forgot to mention is we have the most expensive internet here in the Philippines and slowest. So if we have that, we can push for measures to really decrease the price and make it more faster. Then there will be more opportunities. So going back, we have a lot of support
mm,
coming from not even not from the BPO industry, but also from the industry. What's the challenge right now? If is in the industry is that the people working in the BPO industry, um, these are the kind of people na like, kind of social, you know, and most of them sadly are not registered for this coming election.
mm.
Yeah. Um, second, they are registered, but they are registered in their provinces. Again, remember, 70% are not from Cebu City, for example. This is also true in NCR. Not and going back to their province to vote would cost them a lot of money. So instead of going home, they would just rather stay here and at least save some money, so they will not participate in the election. Number three, our supporters right now are. This is the thing. The election is on a Monday. Right? Monday is work day, and since it's a Monday, the workers are on night shift. Just imagine, because in the call center industry, there is no Saturday, Sunday as rest day. It's there's no rest day. The rest day is any day of the week. So those working in Sundays would still be, they go out 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning. They don't have sleep yet. So and then just imagine them lining up to their precinct, trying to find their name, spending 2 hours, 3 hours just to vote. Then they go back home. It's very stressful. And then, so meaning there's gonna be only few people who can go on leave that day. So although we have so many supporters in the industry, um, most of them cannot participate in this coming election. That's why we are also pushing to have this what we call the BPO centers in each IT park, wherein it's a one-stop shop, wherein everything that the call center agents and the call center companies will need is in the IT park, and it's even open until nighttime. So, so if that there's that BPO centers in each city that has call centers, we can put these special precinct come election day. We can put a special election precinct in that BPO center. Those working in the BPO center can then vote when it's there during their break time, and it's open like what 1 a.m., 2 a.m. They can vote because just imagine 3.4 million, 1.4 directly employed, 2 million plus online freelancers. Most of them are working night shift. They should have a special arrangement so that they can vote. So that's one of the things. But now, so we are because these people directly employed, most of them may not be able to participate. So we are campaigning to their families right now,
Okay.
family members, parents, relative, friends. So that's how basically our approach now.
Yeah.
We right now we are focused in spreading awareness because once they know, they will really support the BPO party list. So although there's a lot of challenges, but we are really pushing to really spread awareness that hey, there's this party list, not Claro, that's really clear, especially in its platform, its vision, and then we are here to make sure that we can provide jobs. Uh, we continue on this innovation in our country, and also provide more opportunities to the Filipinos.
We have several sites, no? BPOs in the Philippines. Have you gone to that places, sir?
Yeah. Yeah,
Every place.
we have been we are concentrating in Visayas, Mindanao for now. We have some also a team there in NCR
Okay.
going to these call centers, but our approach is not going to be the same with traditional campaigning. We thrive in technology. We thrive online. That is our home court, and so we want to leverage on that. Unlike other traditional campaigning, that we have to really go grassroots, visit each puro. No. But for us, since we will be our campaign, majority of it is going to be online. But we still have to visit several places, but because of the time and the resources, there's only going to be few. That's why for grassroots, for going to places, we're concentrating more on Visayas, Mindanao.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Perhaps can I get your final message and you for our viewers and listeners?
Sige. So, for the longest time, we do not have a champion in Congress. For 20 years, we don't have someone who really understand what's the industry, the BPO industry is all about. We are now far behind in terms of innovation. We are far behind in terms of technology. Our ranking globally has now slumped to 52nd, especially in Cebu. The same for the whole Philippines. Our ranking is really low, and this means that these opportunities and jobs will go away if we do not stop this slipping of our ranking. So we are here, Bangon Philippine Outsourcing or BPO Partylist. We want to be your voice in Congress. We want to be the voice of those people who have been given the opportunity, the voice of those people who are able to help their brothers and sisters graduate college. We want to be the voice for those people who help their parents complete their home. We want to be the voice of each of these workers in working in the call center who is toiling, working really hard, especially during night shift. So that you have a voice there in Congress. Um, we want our industry to still continue to grow, and we are here. And uh, as your sulugoon, to really make sure that that you'll be heard. So we are BPO Party List. This is your BPO Party List. This is your party list. We are number 120 in the ballot. Um, Let us collectively unify or unite so we can have a seat there in Congress and fight for what is right and fight for what is good for the industry. Thank you so much and God bless.
All right, mo na mga ka-partners, no? Atong exclusively, no, na interview si Sir Mike Cobus, mga ka-partners, ang first nominee, no, sa BPO Party List, no? Bangon Philippine Outsourcing, mga ka-partners. Medyo first time first time ni siya nahitabo, no? Na musulod sa electoral process ay kining industry sa BPOs. Although dugay na ni sila daw nag-apply, naswertehan. No? Gidawat sa COMELEC ang ilahang nomination. Niya sila karon, no? Mulansar, hopefully, no? Makasulod sa party list mga kapartners kining BPO or Bangon Philippine Outsourcing mga kapartners. Natay nakuha nga na research, no? As of 2021 ni siya mga kapartners na record, no? Nakuha niya nato ni sa Magellan-solution.com, no? Ang BPO or IT Business Process Management or IT BPM industry sa tibuok nasod mga kapartners, naka-create kinig 71,000 new full-time jobs for Filipinos sa 2019, no? From 1.23 million jobs sa total industry headcount mga partners, no? Ning abot ni siya sa 1.3 million or 5.8% higher, no, compared sa 2018, no? How much more sa 2020, no? Kay 2019 man siyang record. We don't know, but kabalo man gyud ta, no? Ang BPO industry karon dako kay tabang. Next, I think parallel naman siguro na sila sa mga OFW nato, no? Mga remittance sa OFW o mga gi-income or na-income aning mga BPO industry nato mga kapartners. Of course, dako tabang sa employment ay all over the Philippines, no? From Metro Manila, na magibagyo, no? Naapo diri sa, of course, di Cebu, Dumaguete, no? Davao, Cagayan de Oro. So muna ang pinaka-latest mga ka-partners. Unfortunately, no, walay representation karon sa Congress ang industry sa BPO. Mo nang kung swertehan mga ka-partners, no? Swerteon ni nga to ang amigo nga si Sir Mike Cobus mga ka-partners sa BPO Partylist. First time, no, na ay representation ang industry, no, ang sektor sa BPO nga makasulod sa Congress mga ka-partners. At least, no, as what Sir Mike nga gisulti sa during the interview, adunay mga challenges nga gitubang karon ang BPO industry mga ka-partners. Although makita nato, no, dako kay kahimuan, pero kung di ni maatiman mga ka-partners, labi na di nato maatiman ang mga players, no, sa BPO, especially natay mga local companies, no, nga naga-operate og BPO mga ka-partners. Kay kasagaran mangod sa mga dagkong BPO company karon owned by foreign nationals, no, sa gawas na sa nasod. Pero natay mga players nga local, no, pero dili siya ingon nga ang kumaga minority lang sila, no, kay ang majority karon nga player ang employer gyud gikan pa sa ubang nasod mga ka-partners. Well, hulaton nato ni, no, kung say mahimong resulta, but well, di pa ta pwede mangampanya, pero mo na, no, ang advokasya karon sa BPO or Bangon Philippine Outsourcing Party List mga ka-partners nga ato nadunggan taod-taod lang.